glad that you're all here. We're going to talk tonight about taking risk. And it's a wedding Wednesday, so we're going all in on taking risk. And I have a question for you. What if the risk that you were taking was not the one that you were thinking about? And that might not make sense to you right now, but as we talk about this and I share a little bit about this wedding that's coming up, I think you'll have a brand new perspective on it. So let's pray. And good and bad, good to see you. Elise, good to see you. Let's pray. And then let's jump into this wedding Wednesday and talk about what's going on in the world of weddings and how we're preparing for the wedding that's coming up. So, Father, thank you for this day that you have made. Thank you for everybody who's here, the blessing of having their presence. Thank you for these moments. I pray that as we are together today, something that is shared, words, comments that are imparted from one to another, they would be a blessing to us, that we would grow, that we would develop, that we would step into this place of fulfillment in life, fulfilling all of our purpose and those that we are to serve and in the purpose that you have for us. So I pray that you would be with us, join us. Your presence is welcome here this night. We thank you in advance. Amen. So Little Mouth, good to see you. Michelle Anders, good to see you. Skylar Blue, good to see you. Ray, good to see you. All right. So I asked the question, what if the risk that you've been thinking about is not the one that you really should be thinking about? And the reason that I actually am bringing this up tonight is, as I said, we're getting ready for this wedding and we're preparing and we've been doing different things. I took another dance class on Monday, so I was in there learning my moves. And we talked last week about how when the man is the leader, that's what our dance instructor told us. She said, the man leads. And we were talking last week about the man as the leader and the responsibility of the man in the relationship when we're dancing, doing this dance of life, that there is a responsibility to leadership. And not only do men lead, but women have roles in leadership too. But when you're in the position of leadership, there's responsibility. So we talked about that last week. And as I was going through this week and we were doing different things, planning, strategizing, talking to people, getting ready, there's something that hit me, and it was really sobering. And I want to share it with you because I think this thought, if you receive it, it will be one that changes your whole perspective on life. And the thought is this, that there will come a moment, there will be a time in your life when it is the last time. And so I'm not trying to be negative, but when we think about life, sometimes we live and we're just carefree. We're going through life thinking that tomorrow is promised and that we have another day. But there will come a time in your life where it will be the last time. And this has been weighing on my heart because in this past year, there have been a few deaths in the family. And so it's been on my heart just thinking about the fact that there will come a point that there will be a last time. The last time you see somebody, it'll be the last conversation you have with them. It'll be your last chance because breath will be gone after that. And so as I was thinking about that, I thought about the wedding and how oftentimes the dream can seem scary, right? You're going after the dream, you see the dream, and you see that as risky, like, oh, it's a risk. Or it might be that you're thinking about starting your business, or you're launching some endeavor, or maybe it's starting a relationship, whatever it is in your life, starting on your health journey. And you might be intimidated and afraid to go to the gym or start working out. You're afraid of failing. So now you have this fear. But I just want to tell you tonight, there is coming a moment, it will be the last moment. You won't get another chance to do it. The opportunity, someone said the opportunity of a lifetime must be captured in the lifetime of the opportunity. And whether or not we're breathing and not breathing, whether or not we're alive and unalive, or whether or not the opportunity just simply goes away. The chance that you had, I had a chance, I had a moment, I had an opportunity, and I didn't take it because I was afraid. Well, you might miss out. You might miss your chance. It might be in a certain window of time that opportunity is presented. I was actually thinking about earlier today. A friend of mine brought me some containers, and I was looking at his container garden, and he's growing some vegetables and things in his container. And he brought me some, and I was thinking, if I don't plant soon enough, if I don't get the seed into the ground soon enough, I'm going to miss the opportunity for a great growing season. And I'll have to wait until I go through fall and winter and spring again to be prepared to plant. And so when you look at your life, you might be thinking right now, like, I have tomorrow, I have another chance, but you don't know that. And so today, our conversation is really about seeing the opportunity that's before you, the one you've been thinking about. And you've been weighing it out because it seems so risky. But let me just ask you, what if the opportunity goes away? What if the opportunity that you've been thinking about, that decision you've been processing, wondering whether or not you can do it, wondering whether or not it would be successful, what if the thing you're dreaming about goes away? Like right now. It was taken away. The opportunity to apologize, to give forgiveness, the opportunity to have a conversation. What if it was taken away right now? Would you have regrets? Would you regret not going for your dream because you were afraid? And when you start processing that way, thinking that life is fragile, time is limited, and we only get so much of it, I think it will cause you to start to think about why you were letting perhaps the opinions of other people stop you. Why you are letting your past failures and disappointments, why are you letting that stop you? Whatever the voice is in your head right now that's keeping you from going forward, my question is, why are you allowing that voice to stop you? What is so convincing about it that you say, yep, I agree with you? It's not possible. All right. So Skylar Blue has left me a comment. Let's see what Skylar Blue says. Yeah, that's how I felt when I had to choose between staying or leaving my abusive husband after a night of physical abuse. And now I'm risking it all to go move 2 states over to have a fresh new start. First of all, Skylar, congratulations. Congratulations on you taking the steps that you needed to take to save your own life, for seeing that value in yourself, that you would say, I need to be out of harm's way. Congratulations. Congratulations on taking the risk. There was a risk, there was a chance. What if something goes wrong if I make this move? What if when I make this move, what if something goes to the negative? What if it doesn't work out? There are all kinds of thoughts. Whenever you are faced with choices, there are multiple sides of the coin. People oftentimes say, oh, there's 2 sides to every coin. That's not even true. If you look at a coin, there are more than 2 sides. There are 3, even 4. There's the left side, the right side, there's the side, there's the inside. So there's many sides of a coin, right? The inside is a side. And so when you're looking at your life and you're saying, okay, maybe I just need to shift my perspective. And for me, as I'm getting ready for the wedding, I can think back on some moments of regret when I didn't act, when I didn't do some things that I should have done, or when I had the moment, but I thought I had more time. And then the moment passes by. And as I've told you all, when I'm in this relationship, and I'm in the relationship with my best friend, and we have a great experience going on. And then we experienced some death in our life, and so we had some loved ones pass away, and I'm sitting there, and we had said many times before that life is not promised, tomorrow is not promised, and we would say this in our conversations. And so then a few people passed away unexpectedly, And it really hit home that tomorrow is not promised. The opportunity that is before you today, you don't know if you're going to have it tomorrow. You don't know what tomorrow holds. And so we can be so afraid of the risk because we're actually afraid of the failure or the disappointment or what might go wrong that we don't move, that we don't go for it. And this past week, just being in training, being in the gym, I was thinking about how when you start moving, when you start exercising your body, when you're working out, when you're thinking about your diet and your nutrition, you're doing all of those things to be healthy because you want more moments of life. And someone asked me, they said, well, how do I get started? And I said this, I said, think about the reason that you would get started. What is it that, in other words, what is it on the other side of starting that you want? What is it on the other side of you being stagnant, you being afraid? What is it that you really want? See, when I was afraid that my past might resurface and the heartbreak that I experienced in my past, when I was afraid that that would happen again in a new relationship, I wasn't fully in. I wasn't all in. I wasn't ready to risk it all. And I've shared this. I told you how I had the conversation with myself when I realized that I was the non-committed guy. And I told myself that out loud, you're the not committed guy. And then I started having this dialogue with myself because I had this epiphany that I was the not committed guy. And then I started asking myself, why? Why are you the not committed guy? And it was because I was afraid of the past. I was afraid that the past would repeat itself. So here I am. I have a wonderful woman in my life. We're best friends. We enjoy doing life together. We have great amount of fun, interaction. Everything's wonderful. We're clicking. She had announced to my niece, who's 6, yeah, because my niece was asking her, when are you going to marry Uncle Brian? And she said, I would marry Uncle Brian, but Uncle Brian needs to ask me. And here I am, knowing that I have a yes, waiting, but I wouldn't commit to it. I was afraid of the past. And so here I am in my heart, wanting to be married, wanting connection, wanting that relationship to be the fullest that it could possibly be. I want to be fulfilled in this relationship. But at the same time, I was afraid. So here's this moment. I'm stuck between the decision. Am I going to risk losing it all? Or do I take the risk in going for it all? There's always going to be more than one risk in any moment. Do you want to continue to risk the possibility of losing the thing that you are dreaming about? Do you really want that? Do you want that risk more than the risk of going all in? All in is risky too. When I after I had that conversation with myself and I said, okay, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that's afraid. And I have this thing where when I find that I'm afraid of something, that typically means I'm going to do it. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do that thing, right? Like okay, let me just tell you, I'm afraid of swimming with sharks. So in my mind, I want to go swimming with sharks. I'm still afraid, but I want to go do it. Now, how I do it, I don't know. I haven't fully worked it out yet, but I want that experience. And just to be honest, I went on vacation with my family and I was actually signing up to go on the shark excursion and swim with sharks, and it got canceled. So I didn't have to do it, but I was going for it, right? I don't want to be afraid. It makes me angry to be afraid. It makes me angry that something is, I say this, I'm like, something is punking me. I don't like it. I don't like that feeling because, and I think it has to do with growing up. There were moments that I got bullied and I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't punch the person in the face or whatever needed to be done. I didn't do it. So I was being bullied. And the one thing I decided was I'm not going to be bullied in life. No, I'm not going to continue to live that life of being bullied. So I don't like being afraid. So when fear comes up, it's a good opportunity for me to go for it. And so when you're looking at your opportunities and you're thinking, should I go for it? Just know that you are asking yourself, what you're really saying is, am I okay taking the risk of losing the dream that I want? Or is it more important for me to take the risk and go get it? And so here I was. I'm like, okay, I'm the not committed guy because I'm afraid of my past showing up again in a new relationship. Even though I have these wonderful dreams of doing life together and having the great adventure of life in this relationship together, I'm afraid of the past. So now the past, even that person, they're stealing from me my opportunity. And then I decided, nope, I'm not going to have it. I wasn't going to allow my past to steal from me. So then I go to the store, you know the story. I go to the store, I get the ring, and then it's on. Then I'm proposing within a matter of a few days. And guess what? Since the proposal, the dream is now unfolding. Once see, here it is. Once you decide, I like to look at all of our life situations this way. Once we have an idea, but then we need to make the proposal. Oh, I have this idea that I'm going to be healthy. Okay, great. Now I need to make a proposal to myself. We're going to do this. We're going to start exercising. We're going to go to the gym. There's a proposal. Now, here's your question to yourself. All right, do you want to go to the gym? Do you want to be healthy? And then you say, I do. Once you make that proposal and you say the I do, like, yeah, I do. So now let's do it. And so once I proposed to her and I said, will you marry me? And then she said, I will for real marry you. For real, I will. And because she didn't know that I was really asking her in that moment because I got down on one knee and I was talking all sweet, but I hadn't pulled out the ring. So she was kind of confused and she was looking at me and she said, are you for real? Are you for real? For real? And she just kept asking me, she's, are you for real? For real? And then I reached in my pocket and pulled out a ring. And then she knew I was serious. And then she said, when I asked her, she said, I will for real. I will marry you. So when we make that proposal and then we accept it from ourselves, then we get to move forward towards the dream, the desire that we want. But there's a risk. And so tonight, because my heart has really been like heavy about this, that so often we miss out on our dreams. We miss out on our moments because we think that we have another day. And I'm guilty of it too. Like there are numbers of times that I've had the conversation that tomorrow's not promised, but then you think, well, that tomorrow is going to come and you have another day, another chance, another shot. But what if you don't? What if the opportunity that you have been dreaming about goes away? And you might be thinking, well, there'll be another opportunity. And there might be, but there might not be. And so tonight, really, this Wedding Wednesday is about looking at the risk and deciding which one you want. That's what we've been talking about for the last few weeks, the decision. I told you about when we went to the cake shop and they showed us all the books of all the cakes. And then they said after a while, okay, it's time to decide. You've seen all the choices. It's time to decide. Why? Well, because we're getting ready to close for one, but also because at some point you have to decide, because your dream needs a decision in order for everything else to be activated. And so you decide which cake you want, and then somebody can start making it, and somebody can design it, and someone can get their icing ready. There's parts of a process that happen when you make a decision. You activate something, and it's not all on you, but you activate something when you make a decision. When I said, will you, I went to the store and I decided I want that ring. That was a decision. Left the ring with the store. Then I said, this is where we're going to go. I started, once I bought the ring, here's what it triggered. Okay, now, how am I going to roll out this proposal? How am I going to do it? What's the way that's going to make it special? And so now I start thinking, when you decide that to take the risk, you will start thinking differently. The reason that life isn't changing for you is because our lives change when we begin to think differently. The reason that you're not thinking differently is because you are so comfortable in your surrounding that nothing is triggering a different thought. See, once you take the risk, being afraid of taking the risk is not triggering a different thought. It's leaving you in the same environment. But once you make a decision for something different, it will trigger different thoughts. And we've talked about this in times past, how within every seed are more seeds of the same thing. Everything reproduces after its own kind. So guess what? Fear reproduces after its own kind. So when you're afraid and you operate in fear, then you will perpetuate operating in fear. But when you decide, you know what, I'm so tired of being afraid, I decide I'm doing something different, that is going to spark a new seed. That's new potential. And so you start thinking differently, because now you did a courageous thing. Now you're thinking, oh, that was exciting. I want to do it again. And so that courage now sparks more courage. Going to the gym, training, when you're exercising and breaking your body down and showing up and being disciplined, that discipline and that dedication will give life to more discipline and dedication. You just got to continue down the road. But so often we give up too soon. And we revert back to what we're used to. That's why so many people fail with changing their diets and nutrition and all that, because they revert back to what was common. And so now when you look at your life and you're wondering, okay, I want something different. Now look at your life and say, do I continuously revert back to being afraid of taking the risk? Because that's where it's at. That's the problem. You've said I do to being afraid of breaking free. You've said I do to the captivity of the past. And so when the past is there and the past is taunting you, I dare you to leave. I dare you. And then the past says to you, do you want to stay with me because it's comfortable? You say, I do. And I'm staying in this comfortable place. And the past is tormenting you. The past is abusing you. And when think about that word, abuse, abnormal use. The past is abnormally using your life, because your life is designed to move forward. Your life is designed to grow. And the past is abnormally abusing you, because the past says, no, you stay right here. Don't you grow. You're not going to expand. The opportunities and things you were dreaming about, you're too old, you're too this, you're not enough, you can't have it. So the past is abnormally using your mind, abusing your mind, and keeping you hostage. And you're not designed for that. And so your whole being right now is suffering, because you know you want more. You know, you want the risk. There's something exciting about taking the risk. That 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 thing that causes your heart to start to accelerate, and your heart's beating faster, and it's exciting and it's scary, but it's exciting. But you're saying this is I was made for this. You get into that atmosphere, that environment, you're doing the thing, and it brings you to life, and you know that there's a greater opportunity, and you're excited about it, and then you're fearful, and you're in between. That's your opportunity to decide which way you're going to go. And I'm going to encourage you to go for it. No, that's not a kitten meowing. Those are birds. So go for it. Go for it. I'm going to ask you the question. What do you have to lose? If you go for it, let's weigh it out. What do you have to lose? What do you have? Okay. When you take this risk, you have something. What do you have to lose? You say, okay, this is what I have. You can evaluate your life and see, what do you have? Because you're going to risk it. That's what makes it a risk. You're going to say, I have this to lose. Creature comforts. I have creature comforts to lose. I'm so used to this. If I take this risk, if I start my business, if I say I do and propose to get married, and if I start a podcast, whatever I decide to do, okay, what do you have to lose? Oh, I'm so used to not being a podcaster. I'm so used to not going to the gym. I'm so used to being alone. If I know I want to be with someone, but then my whole world changes. That's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happens. There have been some decisions that I've been making, and I'm not operating as a solo artist anymore. So I'll put in a call or send a message because I want her to know I'm considering you. I'm thinking about you. I realized when I made a decision and you made a decision for our lives to be together, I was saying that I'm not just going to do my own thing. There's going to be a level of accountability. So when you decide and that ball starts rolling and you say, I'm taking this risk. Okay, great. Now let's start to see, what does that risk require? The risk has requirements. See, the creature comforts, they're good. They're you know why they're so good? They're so comfortable because the requirements of staying where you are, that the requirement is just don't move. The past just tells you, as long as you don't move, you'll be fine. Meanwhile, on the inside of you, you want to go. Meanwhile, you want the adventure. You want the adventure. So just admit it. Admit that you want to have the experience of your life. See, I think sometimes we say things, but then we miss the impact of them. Say, oh, I had the time of my life. Oh, this is the experience of my life. No, I'm saying have the experience of your life. Have the experience of living. Like, don't just go through life. Have the experience. Like, do some things that are worth writing about. What will, at the end of your days, when your life comes to an end, that final chapter, those final days, what will you look back and see? I asked my bride to be that just the other day. I said, okay, let's do this. Let's think about our life 5, 10 years down the road. When we look back 10 years from now, what impact will our marriage have made on the world? What impact do we want to make? What experiences do we want to have? It doesn't even have to be the end of your life. And so we started at 10 years, and then we went to 5 years, and then I said 365 days from today. When you look back on this year, those 365 days, what will you see? While you sit here right now, while I sit here right now on May 7th, we look out 365 days and we look back on this year, what will you see? What adventure will you have this year? What things will you have done? What risk will you have taken? What changes will be made? How will your body be different? How will you be different in business? How will you be different in your relationships? How will you be different with God? Right? Like, what will you see? I've told you for the past several years, when I started a few years back, I used to be so intimidated by the Bible. Right? I'm a pastor's son. Well, I'm a legacy pastor's son. I mean, everybody in my family is a pastor, right? So everybody. And I've grown up in church and the whole nine. But I used to be so intimidated by reading the Bible because it was thick. It was a really big book. And I've considered myself for a long time that I wasn't a good reader, that I read too slowly. And I picked that up when I was in elementary school. And so I used to be so intimidated by it. And then one year, I said, I'm going to read the whole thing. I'm going to read the whole Bible. I'm going to read it. And so I started, once I said I do, I started looking for a way to accomplish it. Because my mind went from, you're a slow reader, it's going to take you forever, you'll never be able to accomplish it, you'll only get frustrated. My mind switched from that to, I'm going to do this. I'm all in, I'm committed to this. And when I committed to it, then the question became, okay, how am I going to do it? And then I started looking for Bible plans, and then I found one, and it all started happening because I made the commitment. And so when you make the commitment, then your mind makes the switch, and then you start moving. So now, for the last several years, I've been reading through the whole entire Bible every year. Like after I did the first year, I was so happy. I was like, all right, I did it. I read through the whole Bible. This is fantastic. Well, I guess I'll just do it again, because what am I going to say? Well, God, I was reading the Bible every day, but not this year. To me, I was thinking, well, I've extended myself and I've created a new level of relationship with the Lord. Well, I'm not going back now. So now it's not just something that I did once or twice or 3 times. Now this is my lifestyle. But it all happened with the one I do. It all happened with the one commitment. Once you make the one decision and you make the commitment and you start going and your mind starts processing how you are going to achieve it, then you start to realize, I've done it. But do you know, let me tell you a little secret. This probably will help you. Do you know how long it took for me to read through the Bible in a year? It took 365 days. Now, some people probably, there were plans, and they were like, read through the Bible in 3 months and 6 months. It took me 365 days. That was the plan that I came up with. The plan that I saw, and I said, this is the one I'm going to use. I'm going to read a portion every day for 365 days. And so since that was the plan, guess how long it took? 365 days. And since that time, it takes me 365 days. So guess what I cannot do? I am unable to rush the plan if I'm sticking to it. I'm not rushing the plan. It's going to take me 365 days every year. And that's okay. So often we want the quick result, but it's like having a birthday. Nope, you're going to wait 365 days for your next one. And guess what? It's worth the wait, because you get to fill up 365 days with experiences. And so if you're right now thinking that you're too old, if you're thinking that like all of your moments are past, you're breathing for a reason. You still have dreams for a reason. And your dreams are not there to torment you. The dreams, the visions that you have, the thing that makes your heart excited and gets your heart, your blood going and you getting feeling good. Those thoughts, they're not there to torment you. Those thoughts are there to give you a preview of what can be in your life if you make a decision. See, you get happy about it because your imagination starts to get so good that it becomes very vivid to you. And it's exciting what you see. And then you let the excitement just fade out, fizzle out because you don't act on it. Then you start talking to yourself negatively. And you're throwing dirt on top of your dream, that idea. It'll never happen for me. I'm too old. I don't know enough. Oh, things are happening too fast in society. Oh, AI is replacing me. Whatever. And you're just tossing dirt on your dreams. But if you decide the other way, in that moment when you're excited and you're feeling inspired and you see something for yourself that would take you to the next level, if you go for it, and then you start asking the question, how am I going to do this? I often hear people talk about burning the boats, where there's a commander or someone and they had their boats and they pulled up onto the shore and they're going into battle. And the commander told them to burn the boats, which meant that there was no going back. They weren't going back in defeat. They weren't going to run away, burn the boats. We're going to stay. We're going to fight this out. See, so many times we leave ourselves with an out. Well, I'll just kind of dip my toe in the pool. And then that way I can retreat. But you never learn to swim just dipping your toe in the pool from the side, imagining yourself swimming. No. At some point, you get all in. Doesn't mean you need to cannonball, but you can walk in from the ladder. You can ease yourself in. Yeah, you can cannonball, jump in, dive in. You can do that. There's so many ways. Once you make the commitment, you say, no matter what, I'm going for it. But it's up to you. And the reality is, tomorrow is not promised. Not just for life, but tomorrow's not promised for the opportunity. If you don't act on it, maybe someone else does. If you don't act on it, maybe the person that was waiting in their life, they were waiting for you to show up. Maybe their life is off track because you didn't show up the way you were supposed to show up. I believe wholeheartedly that you have an answer in you that meets the need of someone in this world. And maybe a lot of someone's. Right? Perhaps the book that you haven't written is the answer to someone that is frustrated and upset right now. And if they just knew what you know. You're welcome, Amanda. Thank you for being here. If they knew what you know, then maybe their life would be different. I think I've thought about this so many times as just being a trainer, being a coach, that when I was thinking that I wasn't good enough and it didn't matter, but then when I started to do the work and people started to show up and then they would be crying and they would be thanking me and this is just what I needed. And I thought it wasn't that big of a deal at first, but then someone was telling me how it impacted their life. So you have something. You have something. I can tell you, That woman, with all we say, God bless the broken road that led me straight to you, with all that she's been through in life, all of her struggles, her challenges, when she showed up in my life, she was an answer. She showed up as the answer, like, hey, buddy, guess what? The baseball games, you don't have to do them alone. Life, you don't have to do them alone. When there's moments of grief and bereavement, you don't have to do that alone. Want to go do some fun stuff? You don't have to do it alone. I got your back. I'm all in with you. Let's do this thing called life together. That was an answer. So even in love, they're going to be down. They're going to be, I'll be in the bed. There's going to be someone there. That's an answer. I'm not going to be alone. I'm going to be cuddled up with someone. Right now, I'm cuddled up with my weighted blanket, which she bought me. She bought me a weighted blanket because I like that. I like to feel snuggled, right? So, but that's an answer. She's an answer. I'm an answer for her. But we are answers for people in different ways, different applications where we are carrying an answer with us and we can solve someone's problem, but it's going to be risky. But it's a good risk. Go for it. Go ahead, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. You know what that is? That's your permission to go for it. That breath in your lungs, that's your go for it. If you were waiting for a sign, right? You're like, if I just had a sign, then I would know. Take a deep breath. There's your sign. You're breathing. You're living. You have a mind to do good. You have a mind to go forward. You have a mind to grow and develop. You have an idea to make an impact. Take a deep breath. There's your opportunity. Go for it. I get it. It's going to be easy to say, but don't say but. Don't say but, because but is going to contradict the fact that you are breathing, that you see an opportunity, that you want the opportunity. That but's only going to contradict that. But's going to tell you why you can't do it. Here's a question that I ask so many of my clients. We think about the risk, right? There's a risk. Here's what it's going to cost you to take that action. It's going to cost you something. Oh, there's a price to pay. When I made the proposal, and you all know, I said, oh, I want an engagement ring too. And so I'm wearing my engagement ring too. You know what the engagement cost me? The engagement and saying, hey, I'm all in with you. This engagement, what this ring symbolizes is I decided it cost me every other woman in the whole entire world. Nope. You're saying no to every other woman you're saying no to, but you're saying yes to this one. That's a cost. It costs full commitment to her. It costs time. It costs care. It costs attention. It costs love. It costs protection. Let's go all in. According to the Bible says, I am to love her like Christ loves the church. Christ gave himself, died for the church. And so I found a woman worth dying for. That's the price. It's the price. It cost me something. It's going to cost you. It has to cost you. Anything of value has to cost you. That's why it's valuable, because I'm risking something. I'm paying this price because I see such value. Your dream, your idea, the vision that's within you, it's going to cost you, but that's good. You know why? Because for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So when you pay for something with a high price, you're expecting high value. It's good. This is good. It's good. It's good. So that's the cost of the action. And we judge that. But I'm going to spin it. What's the cost of inaction? What does it cost you if you don't go for it? What happiness? What fulfillment? What joy? What experiences? What price will you pay in the lack of experiences if you're not willing to pay the price to go for them? Either side, you're going to pay a price. So you get to think about it. Am I paying this price? Am I going to pay this price now to have the experiences that I dream about? Or am I going to pay the price of never having the dreams that I dream about? That heartbroken feeling, that emptiness, that sadness, that wondering, I wonder what it would have been like. The torture of, I wish I would have. That regret. You don't want that. You're not even here right now listening to this message because that's what's ideal for your life. No, the only reason that you're here listening to this right now, instead of anywhere else in the whole world, you could be anywhere on the internet, but you're here right now listening to this clearly because there's something in you you've been dreaming about, thinking about, contemplating, and you've been weighing the risk, and you want to go backwards because that's where your creature comforts are. That's what you're used to. But you're here right now because the message is for you. Here's your sign. Take a deep breath and go. Go for it. And so here's the reality now. You don't, because you've been here, because we've been hanging out tonight and interacting, you don't have the opportunity or the ability anymore to say, I didn't know. No one ever told me. No, that's not true. You can't say that anymore. We just because you hung out here, you're responsible to go for it. If you believe in God, you can't say, God, I didn't know. No one ever encouraged me. No one ever supported me that said you can go for it. No one ever told me. You can't say that anymore. You can't. That's gone as an excuse. Only thing you can say now is either I did not want to pay the price because I didn't see it as worth it. I was too afraid. I was too comfortable. Those are the only things you could say. If we're just going to be honest. There's no more I didn't know. Because now you know. You know there's a risk either way. You can only say now, I did not decide to go for the dream. I didn't see the risk reward. I didn't see taking the risk as worth it. I didn't see that reward as worth it. So I stayed where I was. I stayed in the environment I was used to. And then I would say you live with that decision, but the reality is when we decide that we're not going to go for it, we're not living anymore. Oh, we might still be breathing, but that's not living. It's not living. So that's a decision that cuts off breath. Why do I say that? Because when we make the decision, it inspires us. Spire is the word for breath. So when we make the decision to go for it and we're excited and it inspires us, that means the decision is breathing into us, that's where life is. Life is in breath. But when we decide that we will stay stuck and we have that defeated moment and our shoulders drop and our energy level goes down and we feel like things are never going to get better. I realize when we do it, we just, what is that? Expire. We begin to expire. Because the thing that inspires us, we are not breathing with it. So now everything about our being begins to collapse. You know it. I know it. When I was getting bullied by life and bullied by he was supposed to be my friend, but really wasn't that great of a friend because he bullied me all the time. I was this way. Walking through the hallways. I was afraid of wearing new clothes or feeling good in something that my parents bought me because I knew I was going to get bullied. I was going to be made to feel bad about the good thing that happened for me. And so I breathed out, expire, shoulders collapse. I'm hunched over. Now I'm looking like a defeated person. And I carried that with me for years. I used to walk around with my head down, looking at the ground because I was just ashamed of the person that I was. But then when things change, when you start stepping into those moments when you're inspired, this is so exciting for me because when you begin to breathe in and soon as you breathe, right? Some of us, as a massage therapist, I learned this, that so many people don't know how to breathe. And so they breathe and so their stomach, when you breathe, your stomach and your chest, it should get bigger. Your stomach should push out when you're breathing. When you're inhaling, you're filling your lungs with air. Everything expands, your stomach and your chest, everything, it pushes out. And so many people live in this like short breath where they're not getting a full deep experience. And so what that means is the inspiration for your life is not filling up the capacity that you have. So therefore you don't go because you're not inspired enough. And so you want to just go ahead and start reminding yourself every time you take a really nice big deep breath and your chest opens up. What happens when your chest opens up? Your shoulders push back and your whole position changes. Expire, inspired. It's a different presentation because there's something that's filling me and causing me to expand. See, this is what this moment is about for you. When you're looking at the risk, you're looking at, am I going to expand or not? That's the proposal. Life is making you, your life is presenting you the ring, making the proposal, wanting you to go all in. But the question is, will you? Are you going to say yes to the proposal? I will, for real, marry you? What will you say? Or will you say no? No. Mm-mm. Too risky. Not doing it. I'm going to play it safe on this one. Don't do that. I'm just telling you don't do it because you don't want to do it. You don't actually want to play it safe. You are so tired of playing by the rules. You're so tired of just going with the script. I know. You know how I know? Because I live that. And the people that I draw to me and attract to me in some way or another, the attraction happens because there's a commonality in the story. And so you're tired of going by what everybody thinks you should do and just living off of someone else's script because it does not inspire you. And you want to take the risk. There's something in you that says, I want to go, so go. So go for it. Don't think that you have tomorrow. We're shutting down right now. We're going to shut this down right now. Work on it. Start doing it. Let somebody know. You're like, oh, I want to do this podcast. Great. Pull out your phone right now, tonight. Turn on the camera and record something. Just sit there and talk to the camera like it is your first podcast. Don't worry that you don't have all the network set up and the platform set up. Don't worry about any of that. You just pull out your phone, turn on the camera, and you record yourself being fully podcast of the year person. Okay? Like just go all in. Just do it for a few minutes and you talk to your camera as if you're in a fully decorated and developed studio. You go ahead and you shoot your first podcast and maybe you don't publish it, but just shoot it. Talk to that camera like you have arrived, because you have. Or maybe you want to open a bakery, or maybe you want to create greeting cards. Do the thing tonight, please. just turn this camera off, turn off your phone, and do the thing. Go bake a cake, go make some cookies, go create a greeting card, go do the thing. Stop putting it off as if tomorrow is promised, because it's not. If you lose the capacity, the ability, the capability to do the thing that you're dreaming about, if you go to sleep tonight and then you wake up tomorrow and you are no longer able to do it, but you can see that you can't do it anymore and you're still here, do you know that kind of torment that'll be? It'll be too much. You don't need that. So go for it tonight. Stop waiting. Let yourself be brave. Grant yourself permission to be brave. Maybe call the person to let them know, you know what? I think about you a lot. I really think you're cute. Whatever. Go all in. Go all in. And when you take the first step, that's planting the seed. And I said this a few weeks ago. That's your job. Your job is to plant the seed. That's your first job. Plant the seed. Your job is not grow the tree. No. There are some things that are beyond your control. We don't know how to grow a tree. No. There are some things built into the seed that activate, and when we care for it, and then God does that part. Oh, this is how we're going to grow this tree. Okay, so same thing. Take action. Stop trying to figure out how it's all going to work out, because you're not going to figure it out. No, that's not how it works. You don't get the whole plan. Just start moving, and then as you go, it will unfold. And you know what it's going to do for you? It's going to fill your lungs with breath. So this is your moment to live inspired. Shoulders back, chin up, go for it. Father, thank you for this day, this opportunity to be here, for these moments of sharing and encouragement. Thank you for every person that's been here, those that are here live, those that are part of Team Replay. Thank you for every comment. Thank you for the hearts and the likes, and thank you for their presence. That means so much. Thank you for the inspiration of each person that was here into my life, seeing their names, seeing their interactions. Thank you for them. And I pray, because they are here and they've been blessing me with their presence, I pray that you would bless them. I pray that you would open up the windows of heaven and pour out blessings that they don't even have room enough to receive. I pray that as they move forward in courage and confidence and trusting in you, that you have placed good things, treasures within them. And as they share those treasures and open up their life to the gifts and the opportunities that are before them, I pray that their efforts would be blessed, that the works of their hands would be multiplied, that what they're doing in private and working on it and getting out there in the little stages, I pray that those little efforts would be multiplied, that they would see a great harvest in return from their deposits of faith, because that's what it is. Thank you, God, for giving them the faith to move forward and take action, that they're not just thinking about it. They're not just hearers, but they're doers. And so as they go forward, I pray just an abundance of blessings. I pray that you would inspire them and that you would send people into their lives to inspire them as well. And as they're being inspired, I pray that they would be unselfish and that they would breathe into the life and lives of others. Let it be a receiving of a gift and the giving of the gift. Let them be a blessing to someone, even as others are being a blessing to them. Even as they sow, let them reap in return. And so, Lord, we thank you for this night and pray that your words have found good ground in the lives of these people, and that we would take these words of life and activate them through our actions, put them into practice in the earth so that the world around us would be changed and impacted. And we thank you in advance, believing it to be done. Amen. All right. So there we go. Take action time. I'm shutting this down in 5 seconds. So here's your assignment. It's time to go. Amanda, thank you so much. You said, I've been your blessing for 5 years. Bless you. Thank you. This is your time. Okay. So take action. Even if you're already moving, just take a quick inventory of that opportunity, and then do something with it. Do something with it right now tonight and watch what happens. If you go for it, just put me to the test on this. Take action, take action, take action, and see what happens. See if your life doesn't change. Take that big, deep breath and then go live. I love you much. I'm B.A. Shepherd, 2 P's, A-R-D, reminding you to be a shepherd. The world has enough sheep. Love you much. See ya.